Alright guys, so pistol one. I'm gonna say this straight up front. These are the things I'm taking away from this class, okay? I might misquote things or I might missay things that certain people said, so I'll try not to even, I'm not even really gonna quote people necessarily, but these are the things that I took away from it, alright? So pistol one. I've been to a couple different pistol ones, and they all have their own aspects of different things. Some lean heavily on reloading and stuff. Some lean heavily on malfunctions or safety. A lot of them deal heavily with safety because it is a pistol one class, right? John did a very good job with the safety aspect. We went over all the rules. Whenever you sign up for a class, he does send you a bunch of videos and things that are they're on YouTube anyway. You can go look them up. And hopefully this wind doesn't mess everybody up. I'm trying to find a dead spot, but it's really windy. But he tries to get you prepped before you're there so that you don't waste your time, right? I think he did a really good thing on that. He tries not to waste your time on the range, like the time that you have with him. He tries not to waste that on things you can do by yourself or things that you could learn just going over the general, firearm safety rules. You should be able to look that up. Even his stuff, that's why he puts it out there, his take on it. We're all the same, really. He does a good job of doing that so you don't waste your time and do these mundane little things that you can do by yourself and then, get to learn all the other little nuances of pistols and stuff. So anyway, one of the things that I really liked about it, I got two major, let's say 2.5 major takeaways from all this. He leaned heavily in the beginning on mindset, okay, which is very big because I think that helps. Honestly, I think that will help. And I don't have experience. Sorry, dust in my eyes, stinking wind. I don't train people, right? As of right now, I do not train anybody, not really. And from people from new shooters that I've been in contact with and stuff, a lot of them, they want to learn pistol stuff, but there's not a whole lot of teaching that goes on in their mind, if you know what I mean, like the mindset, right? I know it's been said, and I don't want to misquote it, but in a general term, if you had some dude with a really tricked out, really cool, really awesome, snazzy gun, and you had another dude who was like super sharp, right? Like as far as the mindset of everything, of being aware of his surroundings, right? Reading people's body language, having a plan for different things, the mindset game. The guy with the mindset probably going to win in a fight unless the guy with the gun just has a straight up drop on him for some reason, right? But that kind of goes back into if the guy with, that has the proper mindset and the proper mental game going on, he probably is going to see the guy coming unless you have your caveats. This is what I said in broad terms. You have your caveats where your dude, right, with just a cool gun, he can get a drop on a guy sometimes. But having a good mental foundation is very, very important. And that's one of the big takeaways from this. Being involved in things that I've been involved with, or taught or whatever, I've always been taught that, right? Because I didn't grow up around guns necessarily. Kind of halfway through my growing up stages, we got introduced to them and stuff. And they weren't for defensive purposes, they're just for shooting. And I think that's what a lot of people deal with, is they just have guns for hunting or for target practice. If they don't think about them as like defensive tools. And when you think about them as defensive tools, well, that's a tool. You gotta have the brains to go behind it and the whys and the whatnots to go behind it, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense, probably grossly misquoted things and stuff, but it is what it is. But that's one of my major takeaways is to study more. That's why John's thing is warrior poet, right? Yes, you need to be a warrior, but you need to be intellectual as well. Not just be Mr. Smart Guy, but you need to think. You need to be a thinking person, right? Okay. That was the first thing. The second thing was my grip. I've seen him do videos on this thing. I've been trained by different people, whatnot, different things. And grip is one of those things to where I really suck at my grip, honestly. I really do. My right hand's fine, right, when I'm grabbing a pistol. My left hand tends to always milk out. It kind of bleeds out. As I shoot, especially, I get really sweaty hands. But as I shoot, it just kind of bleeds out, and I end up having to milk my grip, right? Because after like 5 rounds, I'm like way out here, and I got to bring my hand way back. He showed me some stuff, and I'm not going to give away his things. You can go take his class or whatever. But he showed me some things on my grip and things that I was doing wrong and kind of showed me how to correct it, and that made a difference. I was like, wow, okay, that really does help. That really does help. That's something you could learn over time. You really could, but it's going to take you a lot longer, and it's going to take you a lot of rounds. It's going to, his course here, Pistol 1, just expedites the process of you learning, right? You learn from him because he spent the rounds, he spent the time, he knows it, so he's teaching it to you so that you don't have to go and do all the mistakes and all the things to get to where he is. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Not that he's the best shooter in the world, but he did shoot pretty good. So if an instructor can't shoot well, you probably don't want to believe him. The other thing, that's why I said it was a 2.5 things, was the trigger reset. A lot of times, I don't think I was ever taught this, all right? In the military, in law enforcement, in academies, and whatever, I don't think it was ever taught. Well, what I think I was always taught is you fire, boom, recoil, let the trigger out, and it goes click, and then you go from there. I was always taught that. You always want, you want to hear that click? You hear that click? Okay, you heard it? Okay, well good, you did it right. Well, not really. Not really. That's good for like the bullseye shooting and just the slow cadence fire and stuff like that. It's not really the best thing if you're using a pistol for defensive purposes, if that makes sense. That's kind of one of the things we went over today. The reason I call it a half is because I've seen it on his videos before, and I've been practicing that. And that's why I would say one of the biggest things, maybe I should say it was a 3, because we have 2 solid points and then 2 half points, is the dry fire. Dry fire, and you can look at any competent instructor. If they tell you don't dry fire, they're probably ignorant, and you probably shouldn't listen to what they have to say. They might have some good jewels here and there, but in general, yeah. Dry fire is amazing. And one thing that I would say would help, especially nowadays in this era that we're in, get yourself one of those airsoft Glocks, right? Like gas-powered airsoft pistol that fits your holster. So, right, if you have an HK or if you have a SIG or if you have whatever, they probably make a gas blowback version of that. Get one of those and get some mags. And I'm telling you, some are better than others, so you're gonna have to do your own little research. I can't remember exactly which brand of the Glock that I have, but it's less than $200, right? And you can buy like 15,000 BBs, so 15,000 rounds for like 20, 25 bucks or whatever it is. It's not expensive. Maybe it was 30 bucks. I don't even remember. But it's like, it's not even pennies to shoot. It's fractions of pennies to shoot these rounds. And then you need some gas, right? So you use propane, get the little adapter thingy. And I'm telling you, when you can't go to the range, and even, I mean, you can't go to the range every day. Most people can't. I can't. But if you spent a couple minutes every other day working on your reload, not your reload, well, working on your reloads, but working on that trigger reset, that trigger reset is generally something people can really only practice on a live fire range, because you have to have the gun fire and recoil, and you have to reset your trigger, right? You can't really do it with a dry gun. You can pull the trigger back, yeah, and you can rack it manually. It's just not the same thing, right? So that's something I'm glad that I've been practicing, which I think it really helped me. One of the biggest things that I need to learn and I need to focus on, and I didn't save my target, I don't really care, but you can see my shots. I anticipate my shots. I know I do this, and it's just something I'm having to work on. I anticipate my shots. I will drop them low left. Right-handed shooter, I do that. I drop them low left because I'm anticipating, and right before I break the shot, I pop it down. Working that reset the way that you're supposed to work the reset, which is not the way that I said before, because that's the old way, the old school way, which that's bullseye shooting. But when you're actually firing the gun rapidly, working the reset properly is going to help you, and it helped me once I figured that out a little bit, and once I fixed my grip. That did help me to move my rounds back up. I'm still anticipating, because every now and then I'll get a click and I'll see my gun drop. I know I'm doing it. And it is what it is. T-Rex has an interesting theory on that, which I kind of like that anticipation. You're supposed to do that, because when the gun recoils, you're supposed to push it back on target. I like that, because it just seems faster, it seems more efficient, but the gun has to go off for you to do that. So I think that's a mental thing that I need to work on, to where I don't just instinctively, after I pull the trigger, I push down. The gun has to recoil and then come down. So mixing different things, that's not really, that's different things. Different things, different instructors. But Pistol 1 was really cool. It like, the folks that were there were cool, were genuine, right? They wanted to help you. If you needed help, they had answers for you. They didn't make, fun of you. They didn't yell at you. They didn't, curse at you and all this stuff. Like, that's cool. That's one big reason I spent the time and money to come all the way up here to Colorado and to take a class right? From some guy that I only know on the internets, right? And he has a good resume, all this different kind of stuff, but he is seems like a good-hearted and a solid Christian from what I can tell. We might have some theological differences maybe, but there's a difference between a person like him, right? And a person who's just gonna yell and scream and make a big fuss and be dogmatic about their ideas, right? I've never taken classes from those people, and I try to avoid those kind of people, and they kind of drive me nuts. So anyway, that was a long rabbit hole. I kind of went down and vomited words on everybody, but it was cool. It seems not like a whole lot of different things that went on in Pistol 1, because it's stuff that if you've been shooting for a while, you've probably heard all these things, the safety rules, how to draw the gun, right, how to present the gun in different ways that he calls them little cheats, and I'm not going to give away all his stuff, but it does help. It adds consistency to your draw, consistency to your presentation, consistency to your trigger pull, sight alignment, all that kind of stuff is good. And when you hear it in person from somebody who can sit there and coach you through it, tell you what you're doing wrong, it makes a big difference, okay? I'm looking forward to Pistol 2. Looks like some crazy stuff we're gonna do. I'm not sure what all kind of video stuff I might be able to get. I didn't get any video today. We got some weird, crazy weather and stuff, and I just didn't get any video from today. I didn't want to be that guy trying to walk around with the camera and videotape people. I didn't want to do that. But anyway, I'm looking forward to Pistol 2. And if you have any questions about Pistol 1, I'll probably be able to answer more specific questions. Because off the top of my head, I need to go eat some pizza and go sleep and decompress all this information. And I'll probably remember more things tomorrow. But those were the things that stuck out in my mind. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Y'all be good to be safe. Appreciate you watching everything.